Now, Women Working for Social Progress is a women's organization known for its work towards raising public consciousness on a variety of issues such as national importance through community workshops, interventions in the media, and panel discussions. Now, one of the focus areas of the organization is navigating economic issues. And joining me to discuss cost reduction strategies for low-income homes is Jacquie Burgess, convener at Women Working. Ms. Jacquie Burgess, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Morning. You're welcome. I'm pleased to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Of course, Jacquie. How are you this morning? I hope you're staying warm in your neck of the woods.
Well, it's not as cold as yesterday, but I'm fine.
Nice. That's good to know. Well, I mean, let's just jump right in. Well, first of all, tell me about Women Working. What is the vision of the organization, and what are some of the issues that you address?
Okay, so our mission is really to cross all ethnicities. We have a focus on women. Some of the issues we deal with: violence against women, literacy for young people, violence against children. If there is 1% that's against corporal punishment, we are among that 1%. We see that violence to children, and especially corporal punishment, form the kind of basis for the violence that is in the adult population, because it's a learned behavior. And if you are unable to solve problems, or if you solve problems through violent means, then that is all you would learn, and that would continue through life. So that's one of our kind of flagship issue. We run a drop-in center for families. We just do not deal with women. While our focus is primarily on women, we deal with families. So men, children can also seek help at our drop-in center.
Nice. And is it that the issues that you're covering, do you deal with them at the drop-in centers, or how exactly do you go about addressing these issues?
Well, the person may come with a problem, and a problem of domestic violence. And we have people who do counseling, who would counsel them, but you would understand that it would not be just her problem. The problem extends to the family. So if there's need for counseling of the children, if there's need for bringing in the perpetrator or the partner or whoever else is involved, we do that as well. So we would, try to do a holistic kind of treatment solution.
Now, it seems as if the organization is about finding solutions, Jacquie. And I know you mentioned that, you don't normally deal with one person, but you deal with families. Now, we're seeing that the cost of living is going up. We're seeing some increases in prices. Are there any strategies that you can share with families, to sort of keep the cost of living low and allow them to survive in these times?
The biggest thing we think that families should do would be to communicate. A lot of the violence stems from not communicating. Communication is key. Peace building is part of it. If you are dramatic, if your response is rah, 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 and there is not a peaceful way of handling issues, then it would escalate. If you do not know how to de-escalate some of those issues, then it would just carry on. So our advice, or what we would ask people to do, is just try to work through the differences. Seek help if you cannot do it yourself. There are a number of agencies out there that can help. So seek help to, address your problems.
Right. Now, in terms of, because I know that the organization deals with economic issues, they also deal with gender violence and stuff. But as it relates to the cost of living, because, for example, today Nutrimix is supposed to increase the price of flour. And so more than likely when you go to the grocery stores from this week, you are going to be seeing an increase in their particular brand of products. So I'm just wondering, as families come to the center, or even if it is they call in, any sort of strategies you can give them, maybe to help them with budgeting, or, you know, just to help them to survive as we're seeing these prices increasing?
Well, sis, it's not just flour you have to be afraid of. Everything in the grocery seems to be going up. You go this month and you spend, say, $300. Don't expect to spend that even next week. Each time you go to the grocery, there's a raise. Something has gone up. So it's not just the flour. And I think we have to kind of readjust our lifestyle, readjust our habits, our behavior, readjust what we can do to mitigate what is the, you know, international and the greater shock. It's not something that's happening to just Trinidad and Tobago, and it will get worse. So we have to try to adjust. We should have been adjusting a long time ago, from planting what you eat and eating what you grow to having, you know, curbing some of your habits as to wanting things that are foreign. So we have to kind of change those behaviors, and especially now where, since COVID, after COVID, a number of people are out of jobs. How are they managing to, you know, to live day to day? Then came the war and all the restrictions and all things that we then heard that would be coming from that distance. We, you know, that's shut down. Again, just recently, you're hearing that a number of ships are just in ports. So the goods and goods that might have been coming to this side won't be coming for a long while. So we have to now think of what are the things that we can do. People
Jacquie,
are talking about,
yeah,
you know, using cassava flour and breadfruit flour. You can't change that immediately. That wouldn't change immediately. And how many of us could prepare breadfruit flour or cassava flour, dashing flour?
Jacquie,
And if you have
and
to
so that's
purchase
the
it,
the
it is
thing,
not.
because the response is, of course, that you need to go to root crop flour. So people are talking sweet potato flour, they're talking cassava flour, but those things aren't usually found easily in the grocery stores. Usually you have to, you know, buy those things in advance. So how are we making these
And when you
alternatives to
find them,
people?
they're not cheap.
Exactly, they're not cheap, exactly. Because one
They're
pound could
not
cost
cheap.
you over $30. So is that the response then?
So that is not the response.
Yeah.
I don't think that, and you know, you cannot prepare breadfruit flour and sweet potato flour enough, right? So we still have to depend on the flour that went up by $4, even $10. We still, and for poor people, flour and rice go a long way. It stretches for a family. If you have a family of 7, if you have a family of even 5, you know, you cannot supply that family with enough breadfruit flour.
Yeah.
Whereas if you make 5 dumplings, if you make 2 bake, it can stretch so that people, so we have to do some adjustments. We have to sacrifice. We have to bite the bullet. It's, you know, and that increase in the price of flour was long in coming. I mean, flour mills, I'm sure, would have restricted raising the price of flour because of what it means to the ordinary person. That is a staple product. A number of us, even if we're trying to eat right, we still include some of that in our menu, in our day-to-day eating.
Of course. Now, Jacquie,
it was inevitable.
Yes.
And of course, with the rise of flour, the price of flour, all of the things that depend on flour, you would see going up. So we just have to brace ourselves for that. And it gets back to personal, you're taking personal action and seeing what you can do to address that situation.
Now, Jacquie, you would have mentioned the families, and I just wanted to drop this single parent family in there because you did mention the fact that that people would have lost their jobs. But what about those single family homes where it's just mommy or daddy who has to, who has to be the main breadwinner during this time?
And they are very hard hit. They are very hard hit. The single-headed households are very hard hit because some of them are not employed, and they either have to depend on, not fully employed, have to depend on short jobs. They have to depend on some family to help them. How long can a family help you? So they are. I really don't know how they're making it. I really don't know how they're making it. But from what I've seen and some people I've spoken to, it is very rough because some of those same persons are being evicted from their homes. So some of those same persons are dependent on the government for, no hampers are not being given out again by the NGOs and the government and the supermarket association and so they are in for hard, rough time. And these are people who have children who have to go to school, children who need to eat properly so that they can study properly, who need to be clean. So I don't know how they're making it. I don't know.
Now, Jacquie, quickly before we go, because I know we do have to go, you mentioned, probably growing your own food. You mentioned, biting the bullet, tightening their belt, as you would say. But any other solutions can you give to anybody who's listening, who might be out of a job or who might be part of that single parent home? Any words of advice you can give them to kind of survive what's happening right now?
I would think people who have skills and might have been out of a job, see how they can turn those skills into, a mini business or something that they can thrive on. You may have a skill of cleaning houses. In order to get a salary, offer your services to people so that you might have been working in an office, but you have that skill. You're good at cleaning. You're good at cooking. You're good at sewing. Offer those skills so that you can get an income because people do need those skills. And sometimes they think if they go to the store or they go to an agency that provides cleaning, that they have to pay a pound and a crown. So you can offer those services and gain some income. There are people who, just planting, it doesn't help immediately, but if you start into that rotation, somewhere down the road that you might be able to, people could come together too and see how they can barter and help one another.
Yeah.
And because there may be something that you need that I can provide and vice versa.
Yes.
We have forgotten or no longer trying to do some of those things that we did a long time ago.
Now,
People
Jacquie,
can
I'm going to have
start
to
doing
cut you,
those things
unfortunately.
again.
Yes, Jacquie,
That
thank you so
can
much. I'm going to have to cut you, unfortunately, because we are out of time. But let me
out
just
of
say thank
time.
you so
That's
much for
okay.
coming on and
Thank you
sharing
very
those
much for the
ideas.
opportunity.
I might need to see what skills I have as well and see how I can barter with somebody. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you.
Yes, so after your shifting this morning, you can pick up another shift somewhere
Exactly.
else.
Jan, that
Okay,
was
sis.
Jacquie Burgess. Jacquie, thank you so much.
No
And that
problem
was
at all.
Jacquie Burgess, who is a convener at Women Working, just sharing some tips, not just for us women, but for families, you know, so how we can survive exactly the high prices of food that we're seeing at the grocery currently. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.